Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend for a radical gathering in the pursuit of cultivating the world we deserve. My name is Ryan Inger. I use they, them pronouns. I'm so grateful to everyone who is here today and who has joined us over the weekend. It has been inspiring, motivating, and healing in so many ways. So the chat is on right now, so feel free to say hello, let us know where you're calling in from. This event was organized by a coalition of organizations who you'll hear from shortly. And we're here because we wanted to create a space for a radical gathering. We have heard from people who are doing incredible work and have harvested resources to share with you all, and still have one more day. So I'm really excited to see what's to come. Our panelists so far have helped us sharpen our analysis about the situation we're in, and they've helped us build skills and knowledge to move forward in cultivating the world we deserve. We are all well aware we are in a crisis. We are also in a reality where we're trained to believe that our only power is through our vote, that we should stay within the lines of how to protest, how to be heard, how to make change. We're gathering virtually. Most of us are tuning in from what's called the United States, which means we're all on native land. I come from the Cowlitz and Clackamas land called Portland, Oregon. If you don't already know, it's a quick internet search at nativeland.ca to find out about the native people who did and still survive on the land we're on now. I really encourage you all to do that if you don't already know. This is a hard time, and honestly, when hasn't it been? I imagine a lot of us are thinking about the cascade of regressive actions being taken by the United States and the violence being waged against us through illegitimate institutions. But we also know that the United States was built upon violence and war for privatized profit and colonization. In order to cultivate the world we deserve, we have to think beyond what we've been told is possible, beyond the ways we've been told to interact with our world and government, and beyond the fear we've internalized about changing systems. This event is happening now because we need regular spaces to share our wisdom, build strategy, and take care of each other, which this weekend has proven to do so far. This weekend is a starting point. It's not just a one-off event. Our intention is for this to grow. And while we may be wrapping up the weekend today, we're already thinking ahead of what comes after tonight. And hopefully that will include a reflection gathering for the folks who have been present throughout this, for us to just reflect on how this experience has impacted us and in what ways we can continue this work. So far, we've shared radical solutions and explored how building relationships with one another as individuals and organizations, we can work together to cultivate the world we deserve. So we would love to hear from you how we might connect with one another after this gathering. We've shared some ideas and followed through with our first one by harvesting information from all of our panelists, which we will share with you shortly after this weekend. So please drop any ideas that you might have to stay connected in the chat while it's open. At the end of today, we will spend some more time diving into that, but I would love to hear your ideas if you have any so far. Some other ideas on the table are a joint calendar of events and activities from all of the groups who have participated this weekend, a joint statement from participating groups assessing the current moment and the need for radical analysis and solutions, a joint day of action around an issue or strategy, and we will definitely be doing the follow-up meeting, debriefing the gathering and inviting next steps. So that is not a comprehensive list. There's more ideas out there collectively. We have to have more ideas. So please share those in the chat. And with those things in mind, I will hand over the mic to let you hear a word about the organizations who came together to host this weekend. Thanks again for being here and being part of this gathering. And I will introduce you to Millie.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Millie Harmon. I use the pronouns they, she. I am currently joining today, reside and grew up on stolen and occupied Yavapai Apache land called Central Arizona. I want to further recognize the forcible removal of both these tribes from their actual home, their incarceration in Southern Arizona, and later the two tribes being allotted land jointly, trying to erase their cultural differences. I am a national co-director of the Move to Amend Coalition. Move to Amend has two central goals as an organization. First, to amend the Constitution to say that corporations aren't people and money isn't speech. And second, to create genuine justice-driven participatory democracy as it has never existed in the United States. Our work is often truncated and whitewashed to be just about money and politics and overturning Citizens United. I assure you it is not just that. And the problem did not begin in 2011 with that Supreme Court decision. The legal fiction of corporations wielding constitutional rights began 100 years prior. And the precedent of wealthy white men wielding fictitious legal rights to their advantage at the detriment of marginalized people on this soil hundreds of years prior to that. Our work is to build a grassroots movement to legalize democracy. Move to Amend believes that democracy is not just the act of voting or even getting involved. Democracy is an attitude of self-respect, a commitment to dismantling structures of exploitation, and a dedication to building just structures and cultures in their place. Building a real democracy means recognizing that the structures of violence we are fighting have harmed and targeted some groups much more than others. Knowing that, we understand that building just structures must mean that the groups most harmed by our current system should have the most say on how to change it. And those who are most affected by political decisions should make them. Real democracy means that all people are included in the phrase, we the people. We know that that's currently not true. On Friday, people who have a uterus saw their right to bodily autonomy taken away. But when we say those rights were taken, did we ever really have full ownership of ourselves to even say that we possess those rights? Denial of innate human and natural rights is a tenet of colonialism and at the founding of what we call the United States. At Move to Amend, we spend time examining how that denial of humanity and the planet from our very founding manifests itself in present day corporate rule. We believe the passage of the We the People Amendment can be an important tool to dismantle corporate rule and strike up conversations about dismantling the larger systems and institutions that were founded upon the marginalization and oppression of people, as well as the exploitation of earth and destruction of communities. Our work to pass a 28th Amendment to the Constitution to abolish corporate constitutional rights and money as protected political speech is not an end-all be-all. It is a tool to call out the current power dynamics that do not serve the global majority. White supremacy and colonialism produce the institutions that we are currently working day in and day out to resist. And it will take nothing less than our collective power to intentionally tear down and create new ones. Thank you all so much for joining us today on the last weekend of Pride, and as people are taking the streets across the nation in outrage over this facade of democracy. Thank you so much for contributing your time to these conversations. I will now pass it back to Ryan with Alliance for Just Money.
Thank you. I always love hearing you speak, Millie. You're so passionate. So I'm Ryan, as mentioned previously. I am the co-managing director at Alliance for Just Money. We are a nonpartisan organization of people of all viewpoints who share the common value of working together to achieve just money. In our modern money system, private banks create brand new money when they make loans. These banks earn interest off the money they create. And since banks determine who gets the first use of money based on how creditworthy you are, in so many ways, the design of this system has disenfranchised BIPOC communities. To radicalize our economy, we advocate for just money through the implementation of the American Monetary Reform Act. There are three interdependent parts to AMRA. One, require Congress to be the sole creator of all US money debt-free. Two, end the privilege of commercial banks to create money. And three, transfer all remaining operations of the Fed to the US Treasury. Just money has the potential to cultivate the world we deserve in tandem with the movements here today and who have been present at a radical gathering. So yeah, thank you so much. We're grateful to be collaborating with Move to Amend and Jason from A Radical Guide. So yeah, Jason.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Millie. Hi, I'm Jason, pronouns he, him, and I'm joining this call, this event from the land of the Tuolumne Band of Miwok Indians. The Tuolumne Band of Miwok Indians is a federated recognized tribe of Miwok people in Tuolumne County, California. Geographically, it is near what is known as Yosemite National Park. A Radical Guide is not necessarily an organization, but more of a project. We offer resources on historical and current locations, people, and places of interest, highlighting the diverse resistance, the diverse world of resistance. Said it another way, we highlight actions that are focused on creating a better world, a world that lifts up mutual aid, cooperation, and liberation. This manifests in many, many different ways with our project. One way is mapping of the planet. We offer a generated directory of radical locations so people can find, learn, and be inspired by each other. So if you have a radical location, if you're doing radical work, if you know of a radical person or people that you want others to be connected with, feel free to head over to radicalguide.com and add your location. It's free to do so, and it's really easy. We also offer user-generated online courses. So if you have a workshop, a training, an online course, a supplement to your work, this might be a place to host it. Again, free to add it. You can head over to the website to learn more about that. In addition to these main offerings, we also offer we also produce and spotlight videos that tell a deeper story of resistance. And we feature them on our Roku and Fire TV channels, in addition to a Radical Guides website. All of this work and these projects all stem from believing that it's important to remain connected to the work of liberation and resistance of past and present. Because when we're connected to this work, we are better equipped to build the world that we are all deserve. And that's why Radical Guide is happy to partner with Move to Amend and Alliance for Just Money and all the wonderful people who are attending and presenting during this weekend. And I look forward to collaborating with you during this event and in the near future. So thank you.
And Greg, that is your cue if you're ready.
Thanks, Ryan. Greetings, everyone. Good to be with you. My name is Greg Coleridge. I'm one of the Move to Amend national co-directors. I use the pronouns he, him, and I'm calling this afternoon from stolen occupied lands of the Erie and Mississauga tribes here in Northeast Ohio, greater Cleveland area. And I'm going to take a minute to review again with you, as we've done every day, the non-negotiable ground rules and assumptions that all of you agreed to join this gathering. In general, effective ground rules help encourage respectful listening. They increase participation in the sharing of ideas and perspectives. They promote openness to points of view and increase learning. They prevent conflict and misunderstanding. They manage problems before and as they occur, and they build trust and a sense of safety among group participants. The specific list of ground rules that were agreed to gathering are the following. Acknowledge your values and visions, but be ready to have them challenged. Assume good intention in others. Exercise respect and compassion in challenging others' ideas. Agreeing to disagree is perfectly fine and encouraged. Be open to diverse perspectives and identities. Strive to understand the experiences and viewpoints of others. Take responsibility for the intent, impact of your words. Personal attacks, harassment, and microaggressions are the opposite of respecting differences and simply will not be tolerated. Step up, step back. Everyone is encouraged to participate. If you have already voiced your ideas, let others have an opportunity. It is always okay to pass if you are asked to share a comment. Be respectful of introverts and of silence. When you speak, be brief and to the point. Consider your position. Think consciously of your social positions, allowing us to work across our gender, age, education, class, race, sexuality, and other identities in ways that are supportive. Notice whose voices and perspectives are present and those that are absent. Practice both and thinking. One person speaks at a time. Pay attention to the person speaking. If you think you will forget an idea that comes to mind, write it down. Self-care. If it will help, take a breath or more than one before responding. Do your best to understand the pros and cons of every option, not just those you prefer. Ask questions to seek clarification when you don't understand the meaning of someone's comments. Reminder, this is a public discussion, not a debate. It's okay to disagree with points of view. We all make mistakes, so give each other the benefit of the doubt. If you're offended, please consider some options. Use I statements when speaking. And last, be accountable. You say you will do something, then do it. Now, turning to the assumptions, again, that were developed for this gathering, and again, are non-negotiable. The US is not now, nor has it ever been, a functioning democracy. The United States was founded on stolen land and built using stolen labor from enslaved human beings. Any movement that wants to actually create a new world must create new institutions, including new legal institutions that meet people's needs without destroying the planet that we depend upon for life itself. The Constitution or ground rules of any community or country at its best reflects the collective inspirations and aspirations of the people governed by them. It defines the legal framework of how people structure their society, be it politically, economically, or socially. Moreover, constitutions are moral or ethical documents designating what is right and wrong, with profound implications on literally every aspect of the lives of people, their communities, country, and the natural world. The US Constitution and individual states' constitutions should be renewed, rewritten, or scrapped, and either replaced or abandoned to account for new generations, aspirations, and circumstances, and should exist as a living document which reflects the challenges and opportunities of the time and is responsive to the needs and demands of the living generations. All just options are on the table, but so are all sacrosanct presumptions, such as the continuation of tripartite government, the perpetuation of national union, the involuntary inclusion of communities in the makeup of states, coercive taxation to support inhumane and life-threatening policies, such as discrimination against groups, mechanized and militarized police, privatization of public lands and institutions, such as education, banking, healthcare, retirement, insurance, and the overall supremacy of rights in property over rights in people and in non-human communities. Independent, diverse, powerful, and inclusive people's movements are essential to expand justice and create a livable world. Legalized usurious debt violates human rights by allowing creditors to claim ownership of the monetary value of a person's future labor. In doing so, a form of ownership of a form of crypto chattel has been institutionalized. Indentureship. Yes, but actual slavery is accentuated in cases where the property rights of creditors to ownership of debtors' future labor are legally protected by laws like the non-cancelability and ineligibility for bankruptcy protections imposed on student debt. Exponential growth on a finite planet is impossible over the long run. And we are now living, my friends, at the end of the long run. We oppose oppression against all people in all forms. This includes LGBTQAI2S+ people and sex workers. This is not a space for TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists, or SWERFs, sex worker exclusionary radical feminists. Reparations should be paid to descendants of indigenous and enslaved people. Such funds, like funding for other essential human and physical needs, can be created debt-free when money creation is returned from banks to the government. Western civilization, culture, and institutions have prioritized property rights over those of people and those necessary to ensure a livable world. War destroys. People should have the right to opt out of coerced taxation to fund industrial scale war and other atrocities. The authentic involvement of youth is essential in movement work. And finally, we are living in a long transition period characterized by scholastic, political, economic, and ecological crises, altogether a conjunctural period. This means the system, our political, economic, and ecological world system will change. There will be a new system with new logics and eventually a new equilibrium. The question thus becomes, what kind of system do we want and how do we get there? In the United States, the 20th century compact between organized labor, the state, and capital is no longer an alternative. This takes social democracy off the table. State socialism is already off the table, and corporate capitalism is increasingly rejected. Globally, the climate crisis and the hastening of technological revolutions are two additional drivers of system change, and these drivers condition the possibilities for next system initiatives. Thank you. Back to Ryan.
Thank you for sharing all of that. I would like to welcome the CARE team up. So we have Annabelle, Lisa, Jessica, and Petra.
Thank you, Ryan. Mabuhay. I'm Annabelle. We typo. My pronouns are they and sha. I'm part of the CARE team for this radical gathering. We're seeking to hold social justice spaces differently by offering support and community circle spaces as a resource and ways to connect about our experience of the gathering today. Although we seek to co-create safety, we cannot guarantee safety. So we, the CARE team, are here to support you. Even just hearing about the difficulties of all the ways our communities and nature are continually being harmed is hard to hold. So regardless of the distance, we wanted a few ways for folks to be able to receive support and connect with each other. We will introduce ourselves briefly now. To learn more about us in detail, you can check out the website link. I'm Annabelle. I'm part of the CARE team and the Sharing Circle co-facilitator, and I'm calling in from Awaswas Hopi lands, also known as Santa Cruz, California. And I'll pass it to Lisa.
Morning, good afternoon. Really grateful for each and every single one of you being here. My name is Lisa Jagona. I am calling in from the land that was stewarded by the Caddo, Wichita, and the Comanche people, Dallas, Texas. And I am part of the Sharing Circle Facilitator team. And I'll pass it on to Jeff.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jess. I'm calling from unceded Ohlone lands, otherwise known as Oakland, California. I'm here as part of the care team and really grateful to see everyone. Thank you for being here and thank you for letting me be of service. And I'll pass it to Petra.
Hey y'all, my name is Petra, pronouns she, her, aya, calling in from Muncie Lenape lands, also known as Bronx, New York. Excited to be here with you all today. Passing it back to Lisa. Oh, we also have Kate on our team.
Yes. Yeah. So just some logistics of how you get in touch with us. So you can submit requests to have individual support via phone or video, and you'd email care@healingisgiving.com, and that will be dropped in the chat. And then if at the end of the day you'd like to join us, we are having a group peer circle at the end of today at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you will need to register for that. And the link is in the chat as well. That's the bit.ly link. So that is going to be a separate link from this main session. So please register if you want to be a part of that. So that will be at the end of the day. Thank you, and look forward to today's session.
And we'll pass it back to Jessica.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Jessica, she, her. I'm calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada, which is land of the Southern Paiute people. And I'm one of the co-directors of Move to Amend. I am so grateful that you're all here. There's a lot going on this weekend, and this is a lot of hours of content, and it's all so good and rich. So I just want to appreciate you while I have the floor. So I have just a couple of reminders for the weekend to run smoothly, for the rest of the weekend to run smoothly. Remember that all the sessions today are in one Zoom link. So if you get lost, go back to the email that got you here today and you'll be in the right place. The exception is tonight's Care Circle, which you just heard about, which is a different link. So we'll continue to remind you of that throughout the day. I highly recommend it. It was everything that I needed last night. You should definitely check it out. To respect our speakers, in some of the sessions, we will have the chat function disabled during the main speaking presentation or panel, and we'll turn it back on when it's time for questions. So hold on to them when they come up. In our experience, the chat can be sort of distracting, so we're gonna try it this way. So thanks for working with that. I also want to let you know that we have a running list of websites and Cash Apps, donation links, and other offerings and asks from some of our presenters and organizations. So I will put it in the chat in a moment here when I'm done speaking, and we'll keep getting it out to you so that you can follow and give to those folks directly and otherwise support the really incredible people that you're going to hear from this the rest of today and throughout this weekend. So I will get that in the chat, and we'll also send it in the follow-up that we'll send you after this weekend. So we'd really love for you to be a part of today as much as possible. I know that there is a lot, so do take care of yourself and take pauses when you need to. We have a few built in, so we'll let you know when that's part of the schedule, but also do what you need to do. It's a full day. And we have a lot of content, like I said, so it will take us a little while, but we will get the videos out to everyone who registered as soon as we can. So thanks so much for your patience. We will get all of this to you to digest and watch again, because there's so much to see. And as we move forward with the content, remember the questions that we've been talking about this whole weekend. What are the patterns and strategies that are emerging here? What might we be able to do with this formation after tonight? And what is the potential of this configuration and energy here? One thing that we'll be sure to do, which Ryan mentioned earlier, is to host a debrief or follow-up. After the weekend, we will find a time to get this group back together and talk about next steps. So look out for that. Thank you so much. And now I will hand it over to Shelley to get started with our first conversation.